The Crime of Father Amaro is one of Eça de Queirós' most celebrated and controversial works, often regarded as a cornerstone of Portuguese realist literature. Published in 1875, the novel presents a scathing critique of the Catholic Church and its pervasive influence on Portuguese society, blending elements of romance, social commentary, and tragedy. The story revolves around Father Amaro Vieira, a young priest sent to the provincial town of Leiria. There, he becomes involved with a beautiful and devout young woman named Amélia. Despite his religious vows, Amaro succumbs to his desires, leading to a clandestine affair that spirals into a series of moral and ethical transgressions. The novel explores the consequences of their illicit relationship, culminating in tragedy and underscoring the hypocrisy and corruption within the Church. Eça de Queirós uses the narrative to launch a potent critique against the clergy and the institutionalized Church, exposing its moral failings and the destructive impact of celibacy on human nature. The novel addresses themes such as religious hypocrisy, the abuse of power, and the conflict between spiritual duty and human passion. Through the character of Father Amaro, Queiroz illustrates the perils of repression and the inevitable human craving for love and intimacy. Father Amaro is depicted as a complex character, torn between his religious obligations and his earthly desires. His evolution from a naive and idealistic young priest to a manipulative and morally compromised individual is portrayed with psychological depth and realism. Amélia, on the other hand, embodies innocence and devotion, yet her involvement with Amaro leads to her downfall, highlighting the tragic consequences of their forbidden love. Eça de Queirós' narrative style is marked by vivid descriptions, keen observations, and a meticulous attention to detail. His use of irony and satire serves to underscore the novel's critical tone. The realist approach employed in the novel allows Queiroz to depict the social environment of 19th-century Portugal with authenticity, providing readers with a nuanced understanding of the societal norms and pressures of the time. The Crime of Father Amaro was groundbreaking in its unflinching portrayal of the Church and its influence, sparking significant controversy upon its release. It remains a seminal work in Portuguese literature, renowned for its bold thematic exploration and masterful storytelling. The novel's enduring relevance lies in its exploration of universal themes of power, corruption, and human frailty. The Crime of Father Amaro by Eça de Queirós is a powerful and thought-provoking novel that challenges readers to confront the complexities of faith, morality, and human desire. Its critical examination of religious hypocrisy and the consequences of unchecked power make it a timeless and essential read for those interested in literature that probes the depths of the human condition. Queiroz' adept characterization and realist narrative style ensure that the novel remains a compelling and influential work in the canon of world literature. Here are 5 highlights everyone needs to know about Eça de Queirós' The Crime of Father Amaro. Scathing critique of the Catholic Church. The novel is a bold and controversial critique of the Catholic Church and its clergy. Eça de Queirós exposes the hypocrisy, corruption, and moral failings within the Church, particularly highlighting the destructive consequences of celibacy and the abuse of religious power. Realist narrative style. The Crime of Father Amaro is a prime example of realist literature. Eça de Queirós uses detailed descriptions, keen social observations, and a focus on everyday life to create a vivid and authentic portrayal of 19th-century Portuguese society. His use of irony and satire adds depth to the social critique. Complex characters. The protagonist, Father Amaro Vieira, is a multifaceted character whose journey from an idealistic young priest to a morally compromised individual illustrates the conflict between spiritual duty and human passion. Amélia, his love interest, represents innocence and devotion, yet her involvement with Amaro leads to her tragic downfall. Themes of hypocrisy and corruption. The novel addresses themes such as religious hypocrisy, the abuse of power, and the consequences of repressed desires. Through the forbidden relationship between Amaro and Amélia, Queiroz explores the impact of the Church's rigid doctrines on human nature and the inevitable clash between personal desires and institutional demands. Significant literary impact. The Crime of Father Amaro is considered a cornerstone of Portuguese literature and a seminal work in the realist tradition. Its critical examination of the church and society sparked controversy upon its release but also cemented Eça de Queirós' reputation as one of Portugal's greatest writers. The novel's enduring relevance lies in its exploration of universal themes of power, corruption, and human frailty. This was our summary of The Crime of Father Amaro by Eça de Queirós. We hope it helped you.